Bonjour, Diane Rodrère here at DR Delicacy. Today I'm welcoming an old friend and supporter, David Skinner, the executive chef at Equivalent in Kima. Bonjour, David.
Bonjour.
What are we cooking today?
So today we are going to do lobster in a pool. The pool happens to be filled with butter. Today I'm going to show you how to make it a couple of different ways. So if you have come to my restaurant, Equivalent, we're down in Kima, Texas. We do some really crazy things. This is kind of a little bit of a crazy dish, but one that you can make at home. Fairly simple, only a few ingredients, won't take you very long to make, but will wow all of your friends and guests. We're using all wonderful products from DR Delicacy. The only thing that you would have to get in addition to what you'll get in the meal kit is some corn. I recommend fresh corn, and you'll be able to see the recipe either online or in the little card. Right now we have abundance of fresh corn. I recommend that. You need about 8 ears of corn, but if you don't have fresh corn, the frozen corn is fine. Do not use canned corn, okay? Don't use anything canned, ever. Okay, so we'll begin, and I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. We'll show you both how to do it in a sous vide if you have a sous vide at home. It's by far going to be the easiest method to do it, but I'll also show you if you just do it on a regular stovetop.
So David, you picked our lobsters. Actually, this is a pound of lobster directly from Maine. We have some claws and knuckles. And it's raw. So David is going to show us how to cook it.
In a pool of butter.
In a pool of butter.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right. So first thing I'm going to show you is if you were going to do it in a sous vide. Now this is not the full pound, but to give you an example of how we would do it. So you're going to get, again, this is a full pound. So as you can see, there's going to be lots and lots of claws and knuckles. Really great tender meat that you can use. And then you will also get this 8.8 ounce bar of French butter.
Half a pound.
Half a pound.
Over half a pound of butter.
You can never have too much butter. Let me explain how you do it. So if you have your sous vide machine at home, I'm sure you've got a bag machine or some sort of a vacuum sealer. If you don't have that, you can actually just use a regular Ziploc bag. You'll need like a gallon size Ziploc bag. Works fine. All you want to do is just squeeze it and get all the air out, or as much air as you can. But all you're going to have to do is basically take the butter, and you're going to use two-thirds of this wonderful French butter, and you're going to basically put all of the lobster in the bag, two-thirds, so that's going to be about this much that you're going to take. You're going to put that in with the lobster, seal the bag, and then you're going to put it in your sous vide bath that's already up to temperature. Make sure it's already up to temperature and not just plugged in and starting. For this, we want to put it in at 134 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to leave it in there for about 30 minutes. You can pull it out and feel it. The one thing that always drives me nuts is when people overcook seafood. Do not overcook your seafood. It just ruins it. So 30 minutes, these should be really nice and tender, ready to go. Again, it's by far the easiest way. And so this is what it looked like, just a very full bag rather than the smaller bag that we have here. And once it comes out, just kind of wipe it off, and you can hold it until you're ready to plate it and serve it, okay? But about 30 minutes in the sous vide.
What if we don't have a sous vide machine?
Right. If you don't have a sous vide, go buy one. No. If you don't have one at home, it's not a problem. We can do this on the stovetop. We will just poach it in the butter on the stovetop. It'll be just fine.
Did you defrosted the lobster, right?
Yeah, so the other thing I would say is defrost the lobster overnight in your refrigerator. Don't throw the juice away.
Okay.
Keep the juice. Just let it sit out overnight. Yeah. It'll be perfectly fine. So what we're going to do, and as you can see, I've already put our half a pound of the French butter in to the saucepan. And what we're doing is just melting it right now. You don't need to bring it to a boil or anything. We're just slowly melting it, and then we'll want to get it up to temperature, but you will use your entire half a pound of butter. So what we'll do is we'll get our butter kind of up to temperature. Again, on the sous vide, we're going to cook it at about 134. This is going to go a little higher and a little bit faster, mainly because you can't control the burner like you can a sous vide at home. But as you can see, we've now got the butter all melted.
This is a swimming pool. A swimming pool.
This is your swimming pool. Yes, your swimming pool of butter. So we're going to start poaching these a little at a time. And so I'm just starting with all of the claws.
Because they're a little fatter.
They're a little fatter, yeah. And we'll get those done first. And so now what we've got left is the knuckles. And you can see this is a lot of lobster. We don't want the butter boiling, and we're not trying to make brown butter or anything like that.
How can you tell when the lobster is cooked?
So the lobster is going to start to get firm,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really all that we want to do, is we want to firm it up. The meat is really tender, really succulent. Again, the worst thing you can do is overcook it. And as you can see, this has been going for, what, maybe minute and a half?
And it does change color.
It will change color. It'll
It's
get
a little
bright.
translucent over there. Here it's more
It'll get bright.
solid color.
Bright red. Again, this is a dinner that you can fix. Literally, you can have all this ready to go. Come home, throw it together in 15 minutes.
Right.
Super easy, and you will amaze all your friends with this food. And you can get it all at DR Delicacy, except for corn. That's the only thing.
Yeah, we just got those new products from White Talk. Those little potato gratin that you already
So
put it in the oven.
We're gonna try those.
And the spinach actually too, on our line of frozen products. Are they ready?
These are ready, and this has been going what, maybe
Couple of minutes, 3 minutes?
Yeah, 3-4 minutes.
They're so plump.
Yeah. Yeah, this lobster is really fantastic. Okay, so now then we'll put our knuckle meat in.
We should cook even faster.
It'll cook a little faster. And let's put in about half of the juice. We want that wonderful lobster flavor. While we're waiting on that, we just want to pat them dry a little bit, take some of the albumin off. But you can see it's literally just a few minutes to
Yeah, it should
to
be
make this.
cooked now. The knuckles.
And, I'm using my raw hands. I know in the restaurant we would have gloves on, all that, but for here in home cooks, I'm assuming you're probably not
Right.
wearing gloves.
And we're not serving anyone.
And we're not
so
serving anyone.
it's just
Yeah.
just for the enjoyment
Just for demonstration.
of everyone.
So, there's all of our knuckles. Just to show you the difference, so these were done in the sous vide.
Oh wow.
So here's the difference. So these are done just by poaching them, right? These are done in the sous vide.
Keeps them like hydrated.
It does, yeah, and it just, you can you can visually see the difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my recommendation is use a sous vide, but you don't have to. The flavor is going to be the same. It's just a little bit different on the presentation. We've now got our lobster cooked. Next is to make our corn butter, which is the sauce that the lobster is going to rest in. For the corn butter, it's very simple. So you're going to take either your fresh corn or your frozen corn. If you have a blender or a food processor, a blender is actually the best if you have like a Vitamix, something like that. In the restaurant, we actually use a juicer. So if by chance you do have a juicer at home, especially a masticating juicer, just put the corn through that and it will come out and it'll be perfect. What we're going to do is we're going to dump the corn, which is about, so fresh, you've got, 8 ears, 10 ears, something like that, that you've basically taken off the cob. Just use your knife, cut it off the cob. Or if you have frozen corn, a little 2-pound bag of frozen corn should be enough for what you're looking to do. You're going to put it in your blender and you're going to puree it. And you want to kind of puree it on high and just start to really get it all broken up. Then what we're going to do is we're slowly going to add our butter from our lobster. You won't have to add quite all this butter, but you're going to add most of it. And when you're done, then you're going to take that mixture, which is going to start to look like this. So this is the finished corn butter. Okay? And you're going to put it on the stove, and you're just going to heat it. And what you want to do is gently heat it. And this is something where you need to kind of constantly be stirring it. Don't walk away. Corn burns really easy, and corn and butter really, really easy. Just kind of stir it, but you do want to slightly cook it. So not a whole lot, like maybe 10 minutes at the most. 5-10 minutes on the stove. But you want to get it to where the starches in the corn start to thicken it naturally. And what you're going to end up with is something that looks like this. Now you can also, if you want to really go kind of more fine dining, you can run it through simple chinois or just a fine strainer. We'll do it and just catch all the pulp that's going to be there. Because there will be quite a bit of pulp from the corn itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our corn butter up to temperature. How are we doing on our potato?
So these are little individual gratins that are frozen, but you keep them frozen. Turn on your oven at 350, put them in there frozen, and cook for about 25 minutes. And that's it. All done.
Okay, so the other accompaniment we're going to have with this course, besides the wonderful potatoes, is going to be a little bit of spinach. And this spinach is from France, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's there. I would say one thing. I love spinach to start with, but this one, a lot of times it's bitter. This one is spotless.
It is. I have to agree.
You can eat it just like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, superb.
Yeah, it's very nice. The stems are all very, very small. It's really fabulous spinach. When you're defrosting your lobster overnight, just put your block of spinach in, let it defrost overnight. It'll be fine in the pouch that it comes in. Basically, all you've got to do is put it in a pan. We'll start to get it up to temperature a little bit, and we're going to add a little bit of salt and some pepper. And then remember, we have a little bit of leftover lobster butter. So we're going to add some of our wonderful lobster butter to this. Okay. That's it. Really, really simple. This recipe and this meal kit is, you can make the whole thing in way under an hour. The thing that you'll be waiting on is just getting the potatoes out of the oven. And while that's getting done, you can get pretty much everything else ready to go.
You did pick the smoked trout.
Yes.
Everyone loves it. We sell it like butter. But this is trout roe that is smoked, but lightly smoked. Very lightly smoked.
Very lightly smoked.
But it pops. I think it's going to go very well with the lobster and gives a nice little kick to it. Okay, I guess we just need to plate it.
Plate it and eat it, right? Yep. Okay, so we're gonna start with, we can plate up our spinach, a little finishing salt on the top. It all depends on personal taste. Some people like vinegar, some people don't like vinegar. I like vinegar, especially with my spinach, but you just need a few little drizzles. Get your corn butter up to temperature, not boiling or anything, but just get it nice and hot. Still have a little bit of butter left in your pot, and so what you can do is then put that on the stove, bring that butter up to temperature, and then we're going to reheat the lobster with the butter on the stove. So you want to have it cooked and it's ready to go. You don't have to worry about it getting cold. We'll just add that to it.
This is the swimming pool.
This is your swimming pool of corn butter.
See if the lobster can swim.
Heat these back up. Well, that's coming up to temperature, and I think our potatoes are ready to go. You can use, little microgreens that maybe you have growing at the house or whatever. I always like a little fresh onion with my potatoes, so.
Definitely hot.
Definitely hot. All right, and so now our lobster goes back.
Just a little bath.
Just a little bath, just to heat it up. All right. Just a few other little microgreens, add some color and a little brightness to the plate. And most importantly, at the very end, we're going to add a little bit of this wonderful caviar, smoked trout roe. We'll give it just a hint of smokiness, just kind of finishes off the plate.
It's perfect. The colors are just perfect.
And there we go.
Magnifique, David. So here is our lobster in the pool.
Lobster in the pool. So we've got lobster in a pool of corn butter, using the reduction of the butter and the lobster juice itself to help make it even more lobstery. We have smoked trout roe on top. Again, gives it just that little hint of smokiness, a little more of the sea, and then just a few little fresh microgreens. If you don't have those, it's not a problem. You don't have to use them. You can put an even bigger dollop of caviar in the middle.
And then you'll find all these ingredients in the meal kit from David Skinner on DR Delicacy. Bon appétit.